Okay, so today, let's see if you recognize where I am. I will give you a big hint over here. Okay. Hopefully that helped. All right, so today we're going to take a little walk around. Now we're going to look and see that there's no sidewalk here, but there is a sidewalk across the street. So there's no crosswalk here, but I can still cross the street. Just going to be careful. I'm going to look to the left, going to look to the right. I see no cars and I hear no cars, so I'm going to cross over. And I'm going to walk on the sidewalk. So, because this neighborhood has sidewalks on one side, I'm going to try to stay on the sidewalk whenever I have one, okay? So here's our little curb cutout. Just going to cross here. Oh, and let's see. Hold on. Let me look at some of the streets that are close in this neighborhood. There's one. That's the street I'm walking on. And then this is the little side street that I'm crossing. Might be kind of hard to see. Okay, so here I go back. Hopefully not making you dizzy. Crossing my side street. Here's my sidewalk again. And a curb. There was no curb cut out. Keep going. And I'm walking on Thompson. We're going to cross another street. It's kind of a court because you live on a court, Beth Court. There are also other courts nearby. And here's one. I'm not sure you can see that. But that's the court that's next to yours. And a court just means that it's not a street that cuts through to another street. It's just you drive into it and it's a circle. And I think you know that. But that's what you live on, a court. So we're going to walk up to the corner and see what street we're on. And this is kind of the main street into your neighborhood. So when we get to the corner, we've got a couple of things that are landmarks. First of all, we have what is that? And one of these, another nice little landmark. Also, a really nice landmark. Looking at. This looks different from the houses. We've been in an area, your neighborhood where there's houses, but these are apartments. So that's something that's a good landmark that you know when you're near these apartments, you're close to where you live, all right? And here we are, another sign, Thompson Lane is what we're walking on. And let's see what this street here is called, all right? I'll walk across here and look at the sign. And it is called, if we can read it from that side, so I'm going to walk this way where the sun is not shining in our face. It's called going on over there at the apartments. All right, so that's a great landmark. And we've still got a sidewalk here. I'm going to cross back over Thompson. And now I've turned at the stop sign. I've turned right. And I'm going to walk on Blair now. All right, and I want you to see here is a curb cutout. There's no tactile warning strips because this isn't a place where tons of people are walking. Most of the people are driving. All right. I'm going to keep going. And see what else we find along the way here. Here's a nice landmark, a fence. We're passing on the right. And again, there's sidewalk we're walking on, but on the other side of the street, there's no sidewalk. Ooh, here's something. A big yellow speed bump. We're walking along Blair. And we're going to find some signs and figure out what they are. Somebody has a dog. Gonna find a few signs along here. Here's one. It says, and that's on both sides of the street, so nobody is allowed to do that thing that it says on the sign. Here's a sign we haven't really seen. Talk about what that means. And let's keep going. Find a few more things. It's another one of those. Remember what that's called? We just saw one. It's painted bright yellow so the cars will notice it. Because if a car drives over that really fast, it's going to mess up the bottom of the car, possibly. Here's a nice sign that has a lot of stuff on it we can look at. This sign says, we'll talk about what it says. All right, keep going. Now we've been walking along Blair, and here the next road to turn on is called, and it's actually a neighborhood with the same name, so that's kind of nice. Oh, this is some condominiums or townhomes. I'm not sure which one you would call it. All right, so we're gonna cross this little quiet side street, so I just have to make sure nobody's coming in or out of it, and it's very quiet. So here I go, crossing the street. Now I'm in a neighborhood with not a lot of cars, so I can be pretty easy to cross the street here. They don't have crosswalks. They don't have a bunch of stop signs or stop lights. So it's mostly listening and looking. So watching for cars and listening for cars. And also staying on the sidewalk. If you have a sidewalk, you should walk on the sidewalk, because that's always the safest place to be. That's where cars expect the people to be, not in the middle of the street, not on the side of the street where there's just grass. Sidewalks are for walking. And here comes our next sign. Let's see. I wonder what that is. We haven't seen this sign before, but you've probably driven past this sign or walked past this sign. So we'll figure out what that is. And it brings us to this. Let's see if you know what this is. Oh, look. Our first set of those things, what are they called again? And here is the thing that has that sign. It's across on that side of the road and on this side of the road, and I'm going to cross the street because there's another interesting sign, and you can hear a car coming, but it was far enough away so I was able to cross. This says something. Let's see if you can figure out what it says. And then we have the answer to the question of what is this thing that we found here, and there it is. We'll talk about that. And there it is. It's lovely. It looks like a great place to walk. That side and this side. I wonder where it goes. And then another set of, what are these things called again? Hopefully you remember. And there's that same sign letting letting cars that are going on both sides of the street know what this sign, what is here. Okay, what I'm standing on. Okay. So that sign is a clue about what's going on here, this part of the street. And there is a little bit of a crosswalk here. You can't see it very well. The paint has kind of gotten worn out. All right, we hear people mowing the lawn. It's that time of year when we mow the lawns. All right, so I'm gonna walk back to my car and we will watch this video together. And you can tell me where I am and answer some of my questions. And I think you're gonna know. I bet you've driven by this before. Maybe your bus goes here, I don't know. You'll have to let me know. All right, I'm gonna walk across because this is interesting. I wanna look in it. I guess nobody lives here, right? But, oh, actually it does have a number. It has a number and a mailbox, so maybe somebody does live there. All right, the end of my video. I will talk to you later. Bye.